I am lonely. Let me emphasize that by stating, I am lonely, I do not intend to convey to you the impression that I am alone. I, thank God, do enjoy the love and friendship of many. I meet people, talk, preach, argue, reason. I'm surrounded by comrades and acquaintances. And yet, companionship and friendship do not alleviate the passional experience of loneliness which trails me constantly. I am lonely because at times I feel rejected and thrust away by everybody, not excluding my most intimate friends. And the words of the psalmist, "My father and my mother have forsaken me," ring quite often in my ears like a plaintive cooing of the turtle dove. It is a strange, alas, absurd experience, engendering sharp, enervating pain as well as a stimulating, cathartic feeling. I despair because I am lonely, and hence feel frustrated. On the other hand, I also feel invigorated because this very experience of loneliness presses everything in me into the service of God. Why am I beset by this feeling of loneliness and being unwanted? Is this feeling of loneliness solely due to my own personal stresses, cares, and frustrations? Or is it perhaps the result of the pervasive state of mind of Western man who has become estranged from himself? A state with which all of us, as Westerners, are acquainted. These are the opening two paragraphs of the seminal work of the Rav, Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik. His work, The Lonely Man of Faith. Yet, as much as they are his, they are mine. They may be yours. They may be yours, and you may not even know it. What does it mean to be a person of faith? We live in an era in which such words such as love and hate have become almost empty of meaning, and faith is one such word. We desperately seem to want people to have faith. Unlike most other countries, Americans seem to care if our elected officials are people of faith. We want to know if someone is a person of faith. We confuse faith with religion. When we say so-and-so is a person of faith, we mean, in general, that a person is affiliated with an organized religion, despite the fact that a person of faith can be an atheist. When we speak of faith communities, we speak, in general, of religious communities such as Catholics, Jews, and Muslims. A person of faith can, in fact, be a religious person, but religion is not a predicate to faith. Conversely, a religious person can be devoid of faith. Although the common discourse of our day denies it, faith is more important than belief in God. We worry endlessly about whether or not people believe in God, or we critique the God someone worships, but we pay scant attention to faith. Among the many important points Soloveitchik makes in Lonely Man of Faith is that for our world to have any real meaning, we must have faith before anything else. Before we love someone, before we launch a business, before we believe in God. Faith is the crucial relationship the crucial component to relationships. Faith permits us to enter into a relationship with another human being. Faith allows us to begin to repair relationships that are damaged. And there is no relationship in this world that is not, at one time or another, damaged. In Lonely Man of Faith, Soloveitchik describes two different categories of relationships based on the two biblical narratives of the creation of Adam. Soloveitchik calls one Adam the first, and the other, shockingly, Adam the second. According to Soloveitchik, every human being is at the very least Adam the first. Adam the second is represents something to which we aspire. Adam the first, as Soloveitchik refers to him, is animated by the 28th verse of the first chapter of the book of Genesis. Vayevarech otam Elohim, vayomer lahem Elohim, tru urvu, umil'u et haaretz v'kivshua. For this, Adam, belief is the commandment to be fruitful and multiply, as the verse says. Pru urvu, be fruitful and multiply. And the second part of the verse, fill the earth and subdue it. This is the functional and practical aspect of faith, as in, I believe it is my role in this world to have children, to till the soil, to harness energy, to create skyscrapers, to earn a living. Adam, the first, believes his role in this world is to better his own position in relationship to his own environment. He strives to dominate the elemental natural forces and to put them at his disposal. The first Adam seeks the answer to an important question. How does the world work? How do crops grow? How can I grow more crops? How do the tides work? What are the objects in the sky? These are essential, fundamental questions. The great and necessary technological achievements of human history could not be possible without Adam the first. The world is a much better place because of Adam the first. Are we not better off having conquered the plague and polio? Is it not true that the world is a better place because of the train, the plane, and the automobile? I say most definitely yes. Soloveitchik teaches that the primary attribute of Adam the first is human dignity. Soloveitchik argues, in fact, that human dignity demands we subdue the earth by using our intellect. If there is a problem in the natural world, argues Soloveitchik, human dignity demands that we use every resource to solve it. If there is a challenge in the world, human dignity demands that we use every resource at our disposal to overcome it. The narrative of Adam the first teaches us that in subduing the earth and everything in it, we are not meant to be alone. Thus, God creates for Adam the first Eve. A single human is not able to conquer the world. This forces us to reach out to others. We require other human beings, such as Eve, to transform the physical world. A single human being cannot build a car or lay down the tracks of the Intercontinental Railroad alone. Others are required. Thus, we enter into relationships with others based on need, based on a shared desire to improve and conquer the world around us in a good way. The basis of this type of relationship is largely, though by no means exclusively, material. Soloveitchik acknowledges, as I did last week, that certain material needs must be met before any other human experience can take place. This is the realm of Adam the first. Adam the first is not merely concerned, however, with the bare minimum. Adam the first genuinely wants to make the world a better place for himself. He recognizes he needs others who are also models of Adam the first. And in this persona as Adam the first, we humans have gone to the moon and split the atom. Although this human instinct to join with others in order to conquer the world is laudable and necessary, Soloveitchik writes that it is not, in the end, much different than the qualities of other animals. For example, writes the Rav, observe a herd of cattle grazing in the pasture. When all is calm, they are scattered as individuals. When they sense danger, their natural instinct is to herd together, as if mere physical proximity will avert the impending danger. So too with humans. We instinctively realize that to be safe in this world, and after all, conquering the plague or creating the transcontinental railroad is in the end about safety. That to be safe, we require other humans. This Adam the first is one type of relationship, and that is a type of relationship that is fulfilling, but only to a point. To know true existential happiness, as it were, humans seek meaning in another type of relationship based on what Soloveitchik calls Adam the second. This is a more complex and nuanced human. This is the human that is, or that can be, profoundly lonely. As Soloveitchik writes, the companionship which Adam II is seeking is not to be found in the depersonalized regimentation of the army, in the automatic coordination of the assembly line, or in the activity of the institutionalized, soulless political community. His quest is for a new kind of fellowship, one which finds in the existential community not only are hands joined, but experiences as well. There, one hears not only the rhythmic sound of the production line, but also the rhythmic beat of hearts starving for existential companionship and all-embracing sympathy, and experiencing the grandeur of the faith commitment. There, one lonely soul finds another soul tormented by loneliness and solitude, yet unqualifiedly committed. I think that every adult in this congregation has likely had an experience such as this. You work with someone for years. You are not close, but you are not estranged. You come to learn after a decade or 2 decades that she enjoys painting or writing, and you're surprised. Or perhaps that man you've worked with for years or you've known in this way or that, the man who now carries a slight beer belly, played on a championship football team and scored the winning touchdown in college. You're surprised. You thought you knew her or him, yet after 10 years or 20 years, you're surprised. You've worked cheek to jowl with someone for an extended period of time, yet feel as though a stranger. This is a part of Soloveitchik's loneliness. There is much more to this idea of loneliness, the loneliness of Adam II. Have you ever been let down by a friend or a child or a parent or a spouse? Of course you have. Who hasn't? Have you ever had a friend or a child or a parent or a spouse who has acted in a manner that surprised you? Of course you have. Who hasn't? We think of this experience perhaps as being hurt or aggrieved or pained. Soloveitchik suggests to us that in these moments we are lonely, and loneliness is the source of pain. At the core of our hurt and pain, we are lonely. I thought you were my friend. How could you violate my trust? How could you betray my confidence? Although we may not even recognize it at our most existential core, we feel lonely. We feel as though there is no one to believe in, no one to trust. We feel as though we are in it being life, alone. This is the moment we need faith. Faith is that which allows us to enter into relationships with other humans, not relationships about taming the wilderness or discovering a new vaccine or building a taller skyscraper. As important as those things are, all of them are the product of Adam the first. They are not relationships which require faith. At our very core, the deepest existential bottom of the soul seeks a relationship with another human being on the most profound level, and it is this relationship that requires faith. I do not want to call it a faith-based relationship because in common parlance today, the phrase faith-based connotes a religious organization. That is a distortion of the word faith. Thus, I speak of relationships based on faith, the kind of existential faith of which I have been speaking. We require faith to begin this kind of relationship. I move forward in faith to forge a relationship with you. Not a contractual relationship, not the relationship of hiring an accountant, an architect, or a lawyer, but a relationship of deep meaning, of substance, a relationship of kindred spirits. This is the relationship of faith of Adam II. This evening, I want us as Jews to recapture the mantle of faith. In the Jewish tradition, faith is not a belief in a God that performs miracles beyond understanding. Faith is not the abdication of reason. Faith is not an excuse to relinquish human responsibility and common sense. Rather, faith is the energy that propels us to establish the most valuable and vulnerable human commodity, relationships with another human being. If you do not have faith, you cannot enter into the most important and essential form of relationship that we as humans can create. The singular relationship that is uniquely human, that differentiates humans from every other creature on this earth. Faith is that which allows us to reveal our innermost self, our vulnerable self, to another person. If we are unable to forge this relationship, we are lonely. And according to Soloveitchik, everyone is lonely in this way, precisely because these relationships are so difficult to build and so taxing to maintain. Not everyone has the faith necessary to enter into relationships of depth and meaning. Some of us remain as Adam the first, in which every relationship is transactional. For Adam the first, every relationship must result in obtaining some goal or reaching some milestone. In the relationships of Adam the first, we are working together towards some goal, be it to cure cancer or build a better bridge. This kind of relationship is necessary. We would not recognize our world if we did not have this kind of relationship with many people. When these relationships go south, when they turn sour, when things do not work out as planned, little is lost except effort, time, and money. However, humans seek something more. Humans seek the existential, painful, emotionally taxing relationships described by Soloveitchik as Adam II. These are the relationships that require faith. And when these relationships turn sour or go south, or when things do not go as planned, much more than money, effort, and time is lost. We lose our faith. And when we lose our faith, we lose our ability to repair damaged relationships and build new ones. In fact, people who lose faith are unable to enter into new relationships until their faith is restored. It is painful out there. On too many days does our faith take a beating. On too many days I feel as though my relationships of faith are a football game in which I am a quarterback without any offensive line, sacked on every play. on too many days my faith is so bruised and battered, I feel as though I am unable to get out of bed. Yet it is my faith that allows me to carry on for another day and to enter into important relationships in my life. Whatever my shortcomings, I am a man of faith. Although it is lonely, it is also profoundly optimistic. My faith, by which I mean my ability to enter into deep and profound relationships, this faith keeps me going. Every day of my life, I believe my faith will be vindicated. That my belief in your need for a relationship based on faith will be as strong as mine, and that together we can enter into a covenantal relationship of faith. And no matter how much you beat my faith, no matter how much you test my faith, tomorrow I will greet the day anew with faith that it will be better. This is not merely my way, this is the Jewish way. When we talk of the faith of the Jewish people, we are talking about precisely the faith I have described. We are talking of the faith that allows us to enter into covenantal relationships with other humans, the relationships that sustain and nurture the most profound human hunger, the hunger of the Spirit. Judaism is concerned entirely and exclusively with relationships based on faith. Judaism offers us a way to nurture our faith, to build our faith, and to heal our faith. Yom Kippur is the day Judaism designates to rebuild and repair those relationships built on faith. Read the liturgy, consider its meaning, and take it to heart. If you have a truly covenantal relationship with another, it is not beyond repair. Even on Kol Nidrei, even at this late hour, as the gates begin to close, there is still time to muster the very last ounce of faith and renew your relationships of faith. And I believe on this Yom Kippur, your faith will allow you to do just that, to renew, rebuild, and repair your relationships